This isn't your typical HOA Karen story. Trust me, the ending here will shock you. It all began at the last HOA meeting, where Karen, the self-proclaimed queen of control, planted herself at the head of the table like she was presiding over a courtroom. The meeting had already dragged on forever, with endless debates about mailbox paint and whether grass could be exactly 2.5 inches high. Then Clara, a neighbor who somehow manages to be polite in the chaos, sidled up to me. She asked, in her calm and respectful way, if she could host her kid's birthday party at my pool. She explained that her yard was too small and she just needed the space. I could see she wasn't demanding anything. She was courteous, but I had to say no. My pool wasn't built for a mob of sugar-fueled kids, and I wasn't comfortable risking an accident on my watch. Clara nodded, smiled, thanked me, and left it at that. No drama. Welcome Tummy Channel, your hotspot for the juiciest HOA conflicts. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more top-tier HOA chaos. But of course, Karen had overheard. She whipped around, eyes wide, indignation practically radiating off her. What nonsense, she barked. That pool isn't just yours, it's practically a community pool. Anyone could use it. I laughed, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. Karen doubled down, voice rising. You think you can just hoard something like that? My patience snapped. Karen, I said, keeping my voice calm but firm, I built that pool with my own money. It's on my property. Your HOA didn't pay a single cent. My words carried across the room, but she didn't flinch. Clara tried to back me up, reminding Karen that I had every right to refuse. Still, Karen leaned back, smirk plastered across her face, as if she'd already won. I thought it was over. Clara looked a little embarrassed, but she understood. Karen, though, she wasn't done. She shot me a glare so sharp it felt like she was etching my name onto some invisible enemies list. As she left, she muttered, "We'll see about that." That's when I realized this wasn't about Clara's kids anymore. This was Karen versus me. And one thing about Karen, she thrives on turning tiny sparks into full-blown wildfires. Before we dive deeper, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. My pool shares a fence with Karen's backyard, and in hindsight, I should have guessed she'd use that to her advantage. One Tuesday evening after work, I walked into my yard and immediately noticed something off. The floaties were out of place. The pool cover was slightly askew, and there were wet footprints leading away from the ladder. My gut told me exactly who it was. I checked the security cameras. Sure enough, Karen, the HOA president herself. She dragged a ladder from her side of the fence, climbed over like a teenager sneaking into a forbidden party, and then casually slid into my pool, thermos in hand, grinning like she was on vacation. Watching her almost made my blood boil, but I couldn't help laughing at her audacity. The next morning, I tried being civil. I posted signs around the pool and on the fence. Private property, no trespassing. Big, bold letters. Impossible to miss. By the time I came home that day and checked the cameras, there she was again, just waiting. Day after day, it became her routine. The moment I left for work, she'd stage her little heist, crowning herself pool queen. Finally, I decided enough was enough. I marched over to her house, knocked, and tried reasoning with her. She opened the door, that trademark Karen expression on her face, half smile, half condescension. "Karen," I said politely, "you can't keep using my pool. It's trespassing. You need to stop." She tilted her head, smirked, and shot back. "Actually, I can. That pool is for public use. As HOA president, I have every right." I nearly laughed. "Public use? Karen, this isn't a park, it's my backyard." She leaned in, lowering her voice like it was a threat. "Take it up with the board. You'll lose." That was it. I stopped arguing. I just smiled. "All right, then," I said. And just like that, in those two words, I already knew exactly what was coming next. I knew exactly what Karen needed: a little taste of petty revenge, served sizzling hot. After a few nights of scheming, I landed on something brilliant. A prank-level electric setup. Nothing lethal, nothing illegal. Just enough sting to make her regret every splash she'd ever taken in my pool. I got to work. I bought insulated wiring, watched every tutorial I could find, and carefully rigged the pool ladder handrail with the low voltage current. Safe, controlled, but unforgettable. I made sure everything looked perfect. The water sparkled, the deck was spotless, and for extra temptation, I tossed a brand new inflatable float into the pool. Then came the masterstroke. I adjusted my schedule so it seemed like I was leaving for work. Karen always watched my routines like a hawk, so she'd think the coast was clear. But that day, I parked my car down the street and stayed hidden inside, phone in hand, waiting. Like clockwork, I heard the scrape of a ladder against the fence. Karen appeared, fully decked out in her armor, oversized sun hat, tacky sunglasses, and that smug entitlement oozing off her like cheap sunscreen. She climbed over, dropped her ladder, and strutted straight to the pool. No hesitation, she dove in like she was auditioning for the Olympics. Minutes later, after she'd swum and splashed her fill, she reached for the ladder. I flipped the switch. Zap! She screamed, yanked her hand back, and splashed against the wall. I nearly choked laughing. She tried again. Zap! Louder this time, a piercing scream code across the neighborhood. She kicked, cursed, and tried grabbing the rail with her towel. Zap again. Finally, I stepped out, phone rolling, capturing every glorious second. Having fun, Karen? I called, grinning. Too shocking for you? Her eyes widened in pure humiliation, hair plastered, looking like a drowned raccoon. She kept trying, flailing, getting zapped repeatedly, until exhaustion froze her mid-swim, glaring at me with pure rage. Eventually, I cut the current. She scrambled out, dripping, mascara running in black streaks down her cheeks, rage radiating from every pore. Half the neighborhood was now peeking over fences, phones out, watching the mighty HOA president's crown crumble. By the fourth zap, her screams were cinematic like a horror movie soundtrack bouncing down the street. She paddled in circles, glaring at the ladder as if it had personally betrayed her. I strolled outside, phone in hand, pretending shock. Water too shocking for you, Karen? The line nearly killed my neighbor with laughter. He was doubled over by the fence. Karen splashed toward the ladder again, furious, yelling about crimes, lawsuits, and ownership of my entire property. She lunged, hands gripping for the rail. Zap! She flung backward, slamming into the water so hard a wave spilled onto the patio. 3 more neighbors had now gathered, phones out, roaring with laughter as the HOA president flailed like a trapped cat. Finally, I shut off the current. Karen, panting, hair plastered, scrambled out like a soaked rodent. She collapsed on the concrete, dripping, mascara running rivers down her face. One neighbor shouted, "Smile for the camera, Karen," and the flash immortalized her in the most humiliating state imaginable. Then Karen tried to flip the script. She staggered to her feet, trembling, pointing at me. "He electrocuted me. He tried to kill me," she wailed, dialing 911 with Oscar-worthy sobs. The cops arrived within minutes, lights flashing, and the whole street gathered like front row seats to a live show. Karen, still dripping, performed with full dramatic flair, clutching her chest, accusing me of attempted murder. But I calmly showed the officers my camera footage. Every moment told the story. Karen climbing my fence, trespassing, swimming uninvited, then repeatedly zapping herself. The officers exchanged looks and laughed. One muttered, "Lady, you did this to yourself." Trespassing, harassment, property invasion, any of those could have been charged, but why bother? The neighborhood already has the footage they want. By the next morning, memes of her wet, shocked face were flooding the community group chat. Karen's legendary downfall captured in glorious HD.so. What do you think? Did she get exactly what she deserved? Drop a comment below.